This is Peak Productivity, the podcast for Asana lovers and productivity nerds. In this episode, we talk with Bastien about how Asana can benefit teams of different sizes. We also talk about holidays, taking part-time off, about organizing a wedding using Asana, and how companies might look for a future role called Asana Manager. Welcome to Peak Productivity. Hi, Bastien. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Episode 5.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to do like 100 of those?
Well, that would be a good symptom. It would mean that there's some interest hearing these two crazy guys talking about Asana, productivity, and other nerd stuff.
Exactly. I'm doing a video every morning. I don't know if you've seen, and I actually almost reached 100 videos. I had no idea it would go that far.
Well, that's some milestone. Recording 100 episodes on a daily basis. We always talk about good habits, and having these 100 episodes is definitely a very good habit. But I need to ask you something. You always mention that the coffee and the French toast, but I've never seen the French toast in the episode.
I am the French toast. That's the thing.
Okay. I expected some butter and bread and butter, and
I'm the bread and butter.
Cool, excellent.
But just to go back on what you said as a habit, how I was able to do this 100 times. What I decided was I wanted to do this, and I've decided that every single day between 8:30 a.m. and 8:45, I would record my video. And I think by deciding to do this every single day at the same time, that would allow me to be successful. Also, I'm sure that I never have anything on the calendar on that slot because my day actually starts at 8:45. I think that really helped. In addition to this, I'm creating tasks every single day pre-assigned to me for an entire week. So I have that pop up in my task view every morning. But now I have the habit, so I don't actually remember. And also, to make it easy, I removed all the possible friction. That means I'm not doing the thumbnail myself. I'm not doing any edits. I don't prepare anything. I just prepare the topics. So by removing all the frictions, I was able to record all of those and have the motivation to do so. Because if you know that you're going to have to do 5-6 different takes, you're going to have to rehearse, it's just too much work. And I wouldn't have done anything. So I'd rather have 100 episodes that are good instead of 3 that are very good.
Yeah, that's
my tip for today.
Very, very good approach. And for those that don't know what we are talking about, I recommend you to follow Bastien on LinkedIn or on YouTube. And you will see this fantastic daily episode with very...
Asana Morning Coffee, that's what it's called. I'm going to have guests. I'm going to start the next season 2, and I'm going to have guests. So you'll be able to come and we'll have a coffee together.
On-site guests or online guests?
No, online guests.
Cool, excellent. Maybe one day we can record an on-site daily episode. Sure. Well, I also recommend a very good content that happened yesterday. That was the Asanathon. That was an initiative.
Yeah, were you there? Were you at the panel discussion?
I attended, and I was checking those sessions that I missed. There was a technical problem with the first roundtable.
Yes.
And I had the chance to review it on YouTube today. And
it was published already. Nice.
Yeah, all the sessions. Marquis is a quick guy. We have 6 hours of content about Asana that I strongly recommend for those that want to learn more, for the best experts. A lot of good insights, good information, good demos about some use cases. So very, very good content. Congratulations also to you for your session.
Yeah, did you look at the demo I did? Did you learn anything?
Yeah. That CRM use case, I am hesitant to use Asana as a CRM,
Intrigued. Yeah.
because there's a lot of automations that are based on custom communications with the client, like custom
Yes.
emails, custom that I
It's not
am
for
not sure
everyone.
that Asana is ready to handle them yet. But as always, it's very interesting that content.
Yeah, and I'm explaining in the video that to us, it's a challenge to see how far you can go with Asana. So we really wanted to test and see. We would probably be more successful using HubSpot or any other CRM, but also we became better consultants by pushing the boundaries and doing the CRM in Asana.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned again that you organize your wedding using Asana. I think that this is like the best use case. It's like if you can use Asana to handle such a chaotic event like what's usually a
Yeah,
wedding.
and I wish I can marry someone again to just do that again and organize the wedding because I became better, obviously. But yeah, having a second wedding is probably not something I want to have.
At least it's expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this brings one of the topics that I wanted to discuss today. Because sometimes when you talk to an organization or maybe an individual professional, one of the questions they bring is Asana good for a small team of maybe 1, 2, 3 people? And well, if you can manage your wedding using Asana, that means that at least for a team of two, it's a good tool. What's your advice? What are your thoughts about what
Yeah,
is the right size of the team to use Asana?
to to me, Asana is a twofold tool. You have personal productivity and team collaboration. We already know that team collaboration works really well in Asana, and we have plenty of examples. And I think the personal productivity is often overlooked. And very often people don't use my task and inbox properly. And I keep telling this over and over again: use my task, use inbox. A productive team starts with each individual being productive and being able to organize themselves. I've used Asana by myself for years. It's amazing. You can track everything and have reminders. And we all have all of those small stuff to remember. And it's great to capture ideas and then sort them, place them in project, and just track your entire life. So to me, there's no right size. You can start from one to actually. I think actually Asana has Amazon as a client, and I think they have more than 100,000 people in Asana. So you can imagine if they can make it work, then it does work with a lot and lot of
Yeah,
teams.
yeah. That's the example that I use when some clients say, "Will Asana be able to handle our super big 25 people team?" I say, well, Amazon has 100,000 people. They work with Asana. It works fine. So I guess that with
Yeah,
your company
that
will
being
work.
said, I don't know how good it works. I've never seen the Amazon account. They probably have divisions, so they split things into different divisions. But for example, if you look at the custom field library, it's probably a big mess. And I hope they have people working on maintenance full time just to clean things up, train people, just maintain the account. Otherwise, it's going to be a mess. And usually, what I say to the client is, if you go, and you're going to tell me if you agree with this, but if you go above 50 or 60 people, you need someone that does maintenance, that archives project, that just cleans custom fields, that trains people, answers question. Below 50, maybe you can organize yourself, and yeah, maybe
Yeah,
that works, but above, it's going to be
yeah,
hard.
and this is this brings. I totally agree, and this brings another topic that it's. Do you foresee that in the future there will be uh, a role in companies like Asana Manager, Chief Asana Manager, or
Yes,
Asana?
yes. And yeah, I've said it actually, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm pretty sure that's going to exist. And I have seen job posting on the Slack community specifically where people were looking for just Asana managers. So 100%, I'm convinced that's going to be something that exists. At the same time, I'm also convinced that company will start putting on the job ads the tools they use more and more. And people will want to work at companies using those tools. There is no way I'm going to work at a company using Monday. I don't want to start from scratch and learn everything again. No way. I'm going to go to companies that uses Asana. And if you have to choose between two companies, you're going to go to the one that has the tool stack that you already know. And that could also be a selling point for you. If you are already an Asana ambassador, if you know the tool really well, you can put that on your resume and you can use this to get the job, because you can have a big impact in the company beyond your simple job that you apply for. Would you agree?
Yeah. By the way, this is one of the queries that I run weekly on LinkedIn. I search for Asana on the jobs section to
Are you looking
check.
for a job?
No. But basically, this is like a proxy to learn which companies are using Asana.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
and you can see which companies might need some services from experts like you
Nice.
or me, checking which companies use Asana, and if they are looking for project managers or product manager or product marketing managers or positions like this, well, they might be a good place to send an email offering our professional services.
That's a
Yeah.
good idea. Never thought of that.
Yeah, but I totally agree. I am not sure if we are too biased because we see how important is Asana in an organization, but definitely, I think that especially for big corporations that are hundreds of users, having someone that takes care of keeping everything um, correct and custom fields and being like the custodian of the conventions in the organization makes a lot of sense. Sure.
There's an anecdote I share over and over again, and I shared it yesterday. A client of ours, I asked them what was the tipping point that made you choose to use a tool like Asana or choose a tool like any tool. And that person told me when I onboarded someone in my team, I was ashamed of the way we work. And I think if you look at the future, people will judge companies and will decide which company to choose based on the way they work. And I would not be surprised to see people asking to see how they work. Like, what's your process? Can you show me what you're doing on a daily basis? If you just use email, the new generation will say, there's no way I'm going to use email to work every day. Even Jira in marketing teams, like, there's no way I'm going to use Jira to manage marketing campaigns. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, that's like a step farther when it comes to transparency. Showing Asana to your candidate is like showing your underwear. It's like you'll learn more about that company, how
That
they
should be the
work.
title of the episode, like Asana is your underwear. Would
Yeah.
you join a
Well,
company that doesn't have any tool, like only use email?
probably
They will
as
have
of
to pay a
today,
lot
no.
of money, don't they?
Yeah. Well, maybe if they want me to help
What if
them
they don't?
onboard, no, definitely, it's too many headaches, too much anxiety. I mean, it's a mindset. Working organized and being relaxed because you know that everything is on its place. Everyone knows what they have to do when they have to do it. It it's I couldn't work in any other way. Definitely, yeah. Uh, I wanted to talk also today. We are in August. I'm sure plenty of companies have people on holidays, and it's quite difficult sometimes to manage this. And especially, do you see your clients using the out of the office feature on Asana?
It's a good question. I've never used it myself because I check my Asana even on holidays, but my colleagues have done this. I think it's quite nice. What I see is a lot of people wish that the out of office Asana feature would be linked to the out of office Outlook feature, and it's not the case. And I think they do have this set up in Outlook. Um, we do have a checklist of things to do when someone goes on holidays, including looking at the tasks that are already assigned to you in that period, setting up a rule in your My Task to comment that you're not there if someone assigns something to you, change your name. And we do have that checklist, but I've not seen that many people use the away feature. Have you?
I love that that rule in my task, because one of the typical questions is, okay, let's say that our team changes their out of office status, but if they are out of office, can we assign tasks to them? And basically, that rule that you mentioned would help. So maybe you can assign the task, but then you will get a notification for that
Yes.
comment, like
Yes.
I'm out of office until. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I use it myself. Even if I am one day off, like I have to
Oh,
travel,
really?
or
Oh,
yeah, because yeah, since we use Asana heavily, if someone checks my profile or hovers on my profile pic, they can know that I'm, I don't know, in Madrid or in Barcelona or wherever. But it's difficult to push everyone to do so, and since it doesn't have this extra feature, so when you assign a task, but what you mentioned about the rules, it makes a lot of sense, and it, yeah,
I think
probably
the
having.
main yeah, so the main problem we have is the away mention appears as soon as you're away, right? If you are the day before and if you assign something to someone, it doesn't show. So you don't know that they're going to be away starting tomorrow. And I think that's one of the big problem with the away feature at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, very well, that's a difficult and tricky feature. Also, a tricky feature or a difficult conversation is when it comes to project planning. How do you handle when people have some part-time off or holidays, the impact that this has
Yeah, and
on
capacity planning
projects?
overall, that's
Yeah,
really hard. Yeah, and I think in that specific area, people expect Asana to be some kind of a magical tool, but they don't want to take the time to write down when people are not there, to track time, to put time spent on tasks. They just want to do the work, but they still want the result, which doesn't work. So very often I tell them Asana cannot help you if you don't give it the data that it needs to be able to give you the capacity. So when people look at workload, they find that amazing to see how busy people are. But then you tell them that's good, but you're gonna have to track everything you do. You're gonna have to put how long it takes to do every single thing, and then they just doesn't work. The only places I've seen that work is agencies and like lawyers, because they already track their time. They bill for time spent. So that's really the culture they have. If you try to put that culture in another company, you usually have a lot of pushback from people saying, you're going to spy on me. And then you might have some managers doing micromanaging, saying, you worked 6 hours yesterday. Where are those 2 hours that are not accounted for? So I think it's a really, really tricky situation. What we've decided to do, and you're going to tell me if you do the same, we don't track the entire capacity, but we decided that as consultants, we shouldn't do more than 4 hours of client meetings per day. So we actually use that metric, 4 hours within workload, and we already track every single meeting we do with clients. That means we don't have to track the time spent on anything else. For example, today's meeting, that's not a client meeting. I don't have to track this. But any other training session, workshops, we track just to see if we go above that 4 hour per day threshold.
yeah, I agree. We do something similar. It's we track 60% of the of the time. It's around. It's a little bit less than 5 hours per day, because we know that there are some spare tasks or there are some unplanned tasks that require also some room.
Yes.
But to have this like 4.5/5 hours per day plan, it's somehow the sweet spot. when it comes to planning. We used to plan like 7.5 hours, and it was a mess. It was not. We spent a lot of time moving tasks because always the unexpected messes everything up. So you need this buffer time for trainings, meetings, whatever. And again, I think that it makes a lot of sense to have this Asana philosophy conversation because if the organization is too jealous, if they have this concern about being spied or spying their teammates, probably the problem will not be solved using Asana. You need psychologists or something like this, or a company coach instead of using a tool like Asana. You need to embrace this transparency, flexibility, empowering everyone to be able to create tasks, to move due dates, everything.
Yeah, especially because it's a bit hard to go against a tool philosophy, because the philosophy is ingrained in the features, and there's a lot of things that can or cannot be done because of that philosophy. So if you try to go against it, then you end up using workarounds all the time. You end up using custom code and automation, and it just feels clunky and it just doesn't work. And I agree with you. I think we talked about this the last time. It's important to understand Asana's philosophy before onboarding everyone. And I think there are some clients with whom we should have talked about this earlier. From day one, we should have said, Asana is an open tool. You can't have fine-grained permission. You can't lock people here and there. It's supposed to be open and transparent. And a lot of companies do not agree with this.
Yeah, and going back to the company size, do you see differences between big corporations or startups? I love working with startups or small teams because usually they are more aligned when it comes to philosophy. With big corporations, it's more difficult, and you need to put like more conventions in place, more boundaries to the way Asana works, and sometimes you hit the limits of the tool, and it's not possible to be 100% flexible and adjust to corporate policies.
That's why I'm super curious to see what's going to happen, because we know that Asana is focusing more and more on enterprise clients. But at the same time, if you look at their way of doing things, most companies do not operate this way. They're not open and transparent, and they don't have trust by default. So I'm hoping that Asana will be able to convince more companies to adopt that mindset. But for us as consultants, it also means we have to help people adopt the mindset. So it's more work. It's good for us, obviously, but it's more work. It's not just deploying a tool, it's deploying an actual mindset. So there's a lot of change management that's going to come as we go after bigger and bigger companies.
Yeah, it's funny when you're in the first sessions with the client's team, and you see how they challenge their old processes and systems. And this is one of the good things that Asana brings on the table. It's not only how powerful can be the tool, but how it helps manage the change of mindset in the organization. And when you see this, it's like, okay, for me, it's a good symptom. It means that there's a healthy mindset change. It's like, okay, we used to work like this, but now we need to work in a more transparent, flexible way, which requires some adjustments internally.
Yeah, what I like to say is that I like to warn some clients about the fact that Asana will reveal problems they have, but Asana is not the problem. You shouldn't blame Asana. If your process is too complex, if there's no trust, Asana will reveal those problems, like 100% sure it's going to show up. But it's not Asana's problem. You shouldn't point the finger at Asana. You should use Asana as a way to show everyone, we realized that our process was way too complex. Let's make it simpler and implement into Asana.
Yeah, sometimes there are these workflows that have like tons of approvals and sub approvals and this like long list of steps with plenty of approvals, and it's okay. It's possible, but maybe the problem is not the tool, is that the if the first employee that prepares the proposal is empowered to send it to the client, you don't need this long list of
Yeah.
approvals. Yeah. Well, we are in the final chunk of our weekly conversation. I don't want to miss the chance to talk about one of the features. In the last weeks, we had plenty of new features, and one of the latest is the Formulas Advanced Editor.
Yes.
What
Very exciting.
what are your thoughts about this new feature? We had the Formulas
The
Basic
basic
Editor,
editor.
and
Yeah.
now we have the advanced editor that can compete with the likes in Monday or other tools that
Yes. Yeah, a lot of
would.
people are going to say, finally, we finally
Yeah.
have formulas, which is good. It's going to allow us to do some powerful things. It's going to force us to structure project properly with a lot of custom fields. This is still the early days. We're still learning how to use those formulas. There are still a couple of uncovered use cases, but that's very exciting. We've had that service ourselves at I do for a long time, so I haven't had a chance to use those formulas because I've had those myself for a long time, but I need to do the work and migrate to the actual formula custom field. The problem I have is you can't change the type of a field, so I have to change and create a new field and migrate everything. It's a big process, but it's very exciting to see this coming. Very big milestone.
Yeah, for those who want to learn more about formulas and to get some insightful information, I recommend you to jump into Asana forum. There are a couple of very interesting posts from Richard Sadler, one of the Asana
Yes,
Solutions
is
Partner
the
and
god of
forum leader.
formulas.
Yeah, if you search for Richard's post, you will see these 12 formulas to get you started with a new advanced editor with 12 different use cases like task duration, project duration in days, all this information that some clients have requested in the past, and now they will have the information in the new formula field that I'm sure that will help us a lot.
Yeah, and that formula field is also available at the portfolio level, and we already had portfolio roll-up available. So it's really exciting to be able to see those that data being consolidated, moved from task to project, consolidated again. That's going to open some new doors.
In my wish list, this was probably one of the top requests. Now, one of the new requests regarding custom fields is to be able to filter with multi-select or text field custom fields. That it's
Yeah.
not possible yet, but there are some needs on that topic.
My wish list has a single item: show the fucking project on subtasks in my tasks. I just have enough of this bloody debate. I just want that project to be displayed.
Why do you think that it's not yet? Any
I don't
constraint?
know. No, I think technically speaking, I don't see anything. I don't see anything preventing them from doing so. I think the problem, and we might have an entire episode on this. I think my assumption is that they designed subtasks in a specific way. It wasn't used the way they expected the subtask to be used, so they slowly tweaked things to help people, and we are now in this some kind of a gray area where subtasks are not part of the project, but they are sometimes, and they just have to make that extra step of finalizing that migration. So I don't know. I'm just trying to guess. I haven't talked to anyone at Asana regarding this. I'm not even sure they realize. I'm not even sure they agree on the fact that it's a problem. I don't know. I think, and even us, if we didn't work with clients, we are just used to working with subtasks. We know the limits. It's fine. We just work around them. But every time a client starts using subtasks, they always hit the same wall, and the forum is filled with people not happy with the implementation. I usually defend Asana and tell people, if you don't accept the way the tool is built, just go to another tool. But it's just starting to get really messy. I really want something
Yeah,
to be done.
I feel like there's a shift in the focus or the purpose of the subtask. Probably when that was launched was like a minor feature, but now it's like
Yes.
it's gaining more importance. You can see now subtask rolling up to workloads, and well, we'll see. I think that now that we hit the 5 episodes milestones, maybe we can invite someone from Asana product team so they can answer
From the
some of
subtask
these.
product team. Yes, please.
Yeah, we'll work on it, and hopefully we'll have someone answering these questions. Good. We reached the end of this 5th episode. As always, Bastien, a big pleasure. If our viewers want more information, you can reach out to Bastien, ido-clarity.com, or myself, volcanic.agency. We will be super happy to help you. As you see, we are happy always to talk about Asana and its features, and to help people to embrace the Asana way of working. And Bastien, see you next week.
95 episodes to go to reach
Exactly.
100. See you next week.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. Bye.